So we finally got the opportunity to jump on the Jeanneau America 10.5 meter CC. That's just over 30 feet, and you're gonna be absolutely blown away from how many features they were able to fit in this 30+ footer. So let's jump on board and take a quick look around. So I've never really messed with these joysticks very much. Obviously they've become extremely popular. I'm using the Helm Master here by Yamaha, and you can see this thing I'm using 2 fingers, so I got my other hand off. Now I'm spinning the boat, and it does exactly what you want, how you want it. And although we always recommend that you get yourself familiar with the throttles if you're a new boater, this is definitely a good feature to have on any boat if you're not tremendously experienced. And even if you are, it just makes life a little bit easier. Look at this, that is awesome. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump up on plane. You can see there's not a lot of bow rise at all. I don't have any tab down. Engines are trimmed all the way down. Yeah, this is a boat with the twin 300s. That's pretty nice. I mean, if you're gonna jam 10, 12 people on here, then it'd be a different story. You might want a little more power, but running how we're running right now, it's quite respectable. Not bad at all. This isn't a boat that you're gonna wanna be doing 65 miles in like I mentioned. You know, this is a boat to be cruising at 35 miles an hour, something like that, and just be comfortable the whole way through. So this console is elevated. As you can see, I'm going nice and easy here. I'm literally doing 25 miles an hour just to show you the side of the boat. Console is elevated, so it really gives me a great vantage point from here. And it feels like I'm on a much bigger boat than a 30+ footer. So this boat is built for exactly this, just to cruise nice and easy with friends and family, seating up front, seating aft, you know, basically wherever you're gonna sit here, you're gonna be comfortable. And they stick so many features in here, which we're going to show you now in a minute, which is incredible. But I just wanted to give you the view from inside. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. As you can see, I know I mentioned it from the exterior video, but we're kind of propped up here. The console is elevated. 2 reasons for that. You get great visibility. You're behind this enclosure here. It really gives you kind of like a yacht-like feel. And this is a 10.5 meter, which is 34.5 feet. I know I was saying just over 30 before, but it's larger than that. So that feeling of it being bigger was very true. But this boat, beyond the visibility, has a lot of cabin space, which we're going to see in a minute. So that elevation opens up a lot more room down there. So it provides a lot more when it comes to the amenities of the boat. So this boat is built for exactly this, just to relax, cruise at 30 miles an hour. Whether your family's sitting up front or friends or in the aft seating areas, they're gonna be comfortable because we haven't hit one wave hard. Calm, nice day out here, but this is the type of day you wanna go out on that Jeanneau 10.5 meter CC. So now that we've run the boat offshore a little bit and got you that exterior look, I have Pierre from Jeanneau America.
Nice to have you.
Thank you very much for spending some time with us. And he's gonna be showing me this boat. I have not gone through the whole thing yet. So how we like to do it, we go through it live. I'm gonna learn about this boat as much as possible from the experts here and Pierre himself. So we're gonna walk through it. I'm gonna ask some questions. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll do our best to answer those after we spend our day here and learn as much as we can through it. So Pierre, let's go ahead and start at the transom. We have twin 300s on this one. When I first got here, you know, this is a 10.5 meter boat, which I was incorrect at first. It's almost 35 feet. It's a big boat.
Absolutely.
I thought it was underpowered, but now when we ran the boat a little bit, I was actually quite impressed. It was comfortable. We got on plane and within a few seconds, much better than what I was expecting. I'm sure that has a lot to do with the design and balance of the boat. But what are some of the performance numbers you're seeing with the 300s?
So with a 300, you're gonna go on plane within 4 to 5 seconds with this boat. And this boat can go up to 45 miles per hour. So you definitely have plenty of punch. And if you're the type of person who wants even more punch, you can go with some twin 450 from Yamaha. And then you go way over 50 miles per hour. On a boat this size, you don't really need some 600s at the back. So we're very happy with these type.
I noticed maybe some V10 400s would be nice to have a little bit more punch. This isn't the style of boat that you're really looking to do 60, 65 miles an hour in, at least me. This is something that you want to be comfortable with. We ran out there, it was a nice day, but we went through some pretty decent chop from other large yachts. We never hit anything hard. So this thing cruising at 30, 35 miles an hour for me is where you want to be, and this thing achieved it well. Maybe when there's you know, 10, 12 people on the boat, your whole family and friends, might be a little bit different, but otherwise, you know, Twin 300s does the job.
Absolutely.
Very impressed. What else do you have back here? I see you have large
we have some very nice swim platforms. So it's great when you want to come into the boat, you know, you've got a nice handrail. You have a ladder, telescopic ladder if you want to go for a swim.
Okay.
But one of the great aspects of this boat, because it's definitely a family boat, Jeanneau, we're definitely a family fun, you know, day boat. And so you can also come in with a large door that you have here. And this way you can come inside, you know, being away from the engines.
Sure.
So it can be practical, you know, if you have some kids. And you'll see, like, we're going to open this little trap here, and you have an integrated ladder in there that you can put when you go for a swim.
Okay.
So it's just really nice.
Perfect. So yeah, you have multiple entrances and exits, and right now we have the Yamaha Joystick system basically pinning us in place. That's why you're seeing it moving. We're in Jupiter, beautiful area right off the beach, right out of the channel, and that thing's keeping us within 3 feet of the spot that we started at. So it's pretty cool. If you see that in the background, that's what's going on. Let's continue along. I see there's a good amount of seating space that's hidden behind here. Why don't we pop some of these open?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, let's do it. We've got 3 folding benches. So what's really great about this boat is that you see, like, within seconds, we went from having like plenty of room, plenty of space for all your boating activities, to having like a nice little lounge. And very handy here, you've got the galley where you can cook. So within seconds with this boat, you can switch from a boat with plenty of space to a boat where you can have a nice little lunch, nice little dinner.
It looks like the spacing is perfect. Again, you tuck this all away and you don't even realize that there's any seating back here. And you have, what kind of beam do we have on this boat?
So we've got a 10.8 beam.
Okay.
For 35 foot. So yeah, this is the right type of boat for the American market. So this is why we weren't so much on the center console before, because we know that's the type of size that the Americans expect.
Right.
So we've been leaders in Europe for 40 years, but we waited until we get the 10.5 cc, which is now a flagship boat, to really go into the American market with a center console, because we're already very established with walk around and with NC, you know, with some nice boats, with some nice cabins.
Right.
But now we're coming with something which we feel is different than what the market has already.
Sure.
I mean, you know center console better than me, so I'm sure. Exactly. So I'm sure you know that you know, like, this is a little different from what you're used to.
Oh, I've noticed it, and you guys are on the right track. It seems more and more, you know, here in the United States, people, although they fish a ton, they're going more into the luxury cruising center console, and the center console market just has exploded in such a way that more and more people are coming down from yachts. They're getting out of, you know, those day cruisers and getting into a more versatile boat like a center console. And you definitely want the comfort. I myself used to fish, you know, 2 to 3 times a month. Now I have 2 little girls, 3 and 5, and a family. Most of the time when I go out on the boat is to take my kids out and just sit back and relax, and this is the type of boat that we look for.
Exactly, because you can still fish, you see all the roads, you know, you've got 9 roads around the boat. It's definitely more of a family boat. So if you're a hardcore fisherman, maybe this is not the boat for you.
Sure.
But if you want to go fishing with your family,
you can run to the Bahamas and you can come up on a school of mahi or pop up on a reef and fish on this thing with absolutely no problem. If you're a tournament guy, this may not be the boat for you, but you can fish on this thing with absolutely no problem. Yeah. So this table is removable, I assume, right? So
this table is completely removable, and we've got an option to have a table which would be telescopic, where you can lower it, and then you make this whole area a huge sand pad.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, very versatile, like you said. Like, that's one of the key words for this boat, for sure.
Okay, and it holds a little more than 200 gallons of fuel?
That's right. So we've got 100 gallons on each side. You know, here you've got a storage area. In this case, we've got a generator Panda. But you can also put a Seakeeper SK2.
Okay.
And on each side, we've got a 100 gallons, so that's 200 gallons of fuel, so that can definitely take you places.
Perfect. Working our way forward here, you say you have a galley. Let's take a look at this thing.
Yep.
This is incredibly nice to have on a boat. Obviously, if you want to grill something up, you're out, you know, you have the seating opened up, music playing, being able to, you know, throw some burgers on there, or lobster tail, whatever it is that you like. You have it, and then I see you have a live well here with an aquarium front lid to be able to see some live bait if you're going to do some fishing, correct?
Exactly. So this is very modular, like you can really adapt the galley to your taste. For instance, like the grill, you could have a gas burner if you wanted. And the live well, it's also an option. So if you wanted more storage, that's also something that you can do.
Maybe a cooler or something like that?
Yes, so we have an extra fridge here, you know. But the customer in this case, he wanted to have a live well, so I'm guessing he's going to do a little bit of fishing in the area.
Yep, and having some storage here is excellent. This is actually an owner's boat, so thank you very much to the owners of this boat for allowing us to use it for a little while. So you're gonna see some stuff. They have everything nice and organized for a day out in the water, and you got plenty of storage, which you can never have too much of. Let's go ahead and close this thing up.
So Alan, the one thing I wanted to mention to you, you know, as we move to the Helm, is that I hope you can really feel it. Like the concept of this boat, it was really like free movement, you know, so there's nothing in the way. The roads, you know, they're like up there, so they don't get in the way. And here you see you have some really large gunnels on the sides, and they're also pretty high, so you feel really safe, again, because we're really family boating company, so we want to make sure everything
stay on board.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a good height freeboard. It's not too tall, but I can see what you're saying, and you definitely have plenty of room, you know, between the console and the cap here. This is a two-piece constructed boat. You can see they have the inserts for some rod holders, or, you know, storage for brushes, whatever you want to put in there. And then we'll jump up. You notice this step, the helm area is elevated, which really gives you a nice point of view from up here, and it really gave me a feeling of I was on a much like a smaller yacht. I don't know, that's the feel I got as soon as I got on here. This boat's about 34.5 feet, but it felt much bigger. You know, sitting here at the helm.
Absolutely. I feel like small yachts is the best way to describe all the Jeanneau boats. This one is no exception. And you're right, so on the side we have 0 step. Again, this idea of free movement.
Sure.
But when we come to the helm, there's this little step just so we can see better.
Right.
So how did you feel when you took the helm a little earlier?
It felt good. I mean, like I said, the boat had almost 0 bow rise. I'm sure the CG of the boat and the weight distribution has a lot to do with it. Considering the 300s, we did get on plane within a 5-6 seconds. It felt like it was smooth. You know, we weren't running the boat hard. We were running at 30 miles an hour most of the time, maybe 35 in some higher speeds, but it was extremely comfortable, and the visibility from here is great. This enclosure is good size. You got 3 helm seats, which is great for a 34.5 foot boat. Everything felt right. There wasn't anything that I felt was too tight or maybe needed more space, more room. At least for my size, I'm 5'8", 180 something pounds. It was ideal for me. And I'm sure you guys did this elevated portion. I know there's a lot going on in the cabin, which we're excited to show you. Make sure you stick around for that. But it definitely does give you a nice feel when you're driving the boat here at the helm.
Yeah, no, I think you said it all. Like, there's a one-piece windshield, so I think the visibility is great. And then those bolter seats, you know, that you can put down. This way you can, either you drive up or you're sitting, So these are great features, and we're very, very happy with the result.
Yep. Also, I mean, we have the Garmin MFDs, 2 of them here. There's space for more. If you can look around here, let me get out of the way if you want to do more.
This is the maximum amount of screens we're going to put. So that's 2 12-inch screens. But yeah, there's the Yamaha screen as well right there. And so all your instruments are right there.
Yeah.
And of course, the Helm Master Yamaha. So this is definitely a great feature. Right now we're on Stay Put, Yeah. So that's a great option that you can have. You can have Unilever. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about Yamaha, but like definitely, like this is a great thing, especially with the joystick. So once you get into the dock with this thing, I mean, it's like a video game. It's so easy.
As I said, I haven't spent much time messing with joystick systems from any company. It's incredibly nice, and how responsive and detailed it is. I mean, it was doing exactly what I wanted with 0 practice, and I'm sure if you practice with it for an hour or 2, you can do magical things with it. But again, it's always good to make sure you know how to run the boat with the throttles alone, just in case. But that's an excellent feature. It's just another innovative thing that's come out in the market to make boating easier, which has opened doors to a lot more people out in the public. The electronics are set up nice. You got a bow thruster, Lenco trim tabs. I honestly didn't feel the need to touch those too much. You have storage over here, cup holders, and an oversized hardtop with your Fusion speakers up there as well. So the sound, we haven't turned it on, but I'm sure it's fantastic as well.
Yeah, it's great. You've got 8 speakers, so the sound is good. You've got 2 subwoofer. I can't pronounce it too well, but for sure you've got a nice sound. So some people actually like to use this boat as a party boat,
I can imagine that.
Because you can make a huge sun pad at the back, you can make a huge sun pad at the front, and then with some nice music, it's a good boat to be out.
Perfect. All right, let's make our way over to that cabin that we've been hearing so much about.
Okay, Alan, so here we are. Now this is the cabin, so I think this is what Jeanneau does best. And you can see that the door opens sideways so that we have a maximum of space.
Nice hinge system that kind of wraps around the fiberglass there. I like that.
Absolutely.
Every company has their own way of doing these whole side doors, and we like to analyze every single one because it's very cool to see how everyone has their own take, and that's an interesting one. But it's nice how it wraps around and kind of keeps it snug to the console, so you still have plenty of room to walk up to the bow if need be.
Exactly, that's the idea. So let's get in.
Well, actually, before we do that, I got to show this thing because I saw this earlier, and there's some companies don't have any sort of indentation here. Some will create an opening that kind of eats up that space. This one actually has a piece that slides back on 2 tracks, and look at how it opens up this area to be able to comfortably drop down. I've been on a boat that did not have this and it had kind of a halfway opening, and I smacked my head on it so hard that I remember it clearly. So this is one thing I noticed, which is a great idea. You can close it when you need to, but you get it out of the way if you're gonna, you know, be jumping in and out, and the opening to get in here is fantastic.
Good, so maybe take a seat in the front salon.
All right.
Yeah, and so this little piece that you see here, you could take it off and install a small table. So you could have like a little salon here.
Area.
Again, I could be sitting here and you're on the other side. But as you can see, it's a nice double berth, right?
Yeah.
So 2 people definitely can sleep comfortably in there. And so that's one of the main things with this boat also. Like it's got 4 comfortable berths, like 2 here at the front, and here we've got a king size bed at the back.
Yeah.
So I don't think you get to see that a lot in
that's
right?
That's the one thing that really blew my mind when I saw this boat for the first time, I think at the Miami Boat Show. This is a 34 footer, 34 and a half. So to have this is pretty standard, you know, with a private head, shower, maybe even a refrigerator. This area, you see it often, but that is not something I don't think I've ever seen on a center console of this size.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I don't know if the camera gets it, but now you see Pierre in there. I mean, you can fit 2 people there, no problem. You can fit, you know, 4 kids in there with no problem. So to have that kind of livable and space in air conditioning on a 34 center console is ridiculous.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so then you've got some modular things, like you can add a microwave. I think the head you mentioned, but I feel we should show the head because it's got a separate shower, which is also something which is unprecedented, I think, for a boat of this type.
Right.
So
you can close the head and shower out of the way to take a shower there and keep the rest of the bathroom dry. Again, something that you don't see. You see it maybe on some larger boats, but not often on a 10.5 meter.
Exactly.
So TV here. This is the lounger compartment, which obviously creates the headroom in this space. So this opens up. If you don't want to use the AC, you do get a good amount of natural air. We don't have the air conditioning kicked on now, and it's actually pretty comfortable. Between that door and this, you do get a flow of air, which makes it workable, even in Miami right now, which is 97 degrees, or Jupiter. So very nice. You can close this up if you want the AC to turned on, you know, drop one of your kids here to take a nap with all the comfort in the world, and then you have lights, little flat screen TV, and then you can even close this up if you want a bit of privacy. Wrapping things up at the bow, here we have the lounger open, as you saw from inside the cabin, so it does let that natural lighting and air get in there. Then if you don't need that, you're gonna enjoy this space up here. You got a huge lounger. It's set up for 2, but you can fit 3-4 people in this thing. It is quite wide, so a really comfortable space to run on the boat. And then what else we got up here, Pierre? Take us through.
So what's great with this boat, again, it's the amount of space that you get. So you just mentioned that the sofa, you know, you can lift it up. This table you can remove, and then you can put it easily inside there. It doesn't bother you. So this is great. So then one thing that you could do is also you could make a huge sun pad here. It's very easy to set up. It's just a little grid that you put in there. So that's a great area.
Okay.
And another feature that I love about this boat is see this back seat.
Nice.
And then when you're riding, it's just really nice to be able to see forward, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be like this when you're riding. And so this does it really well. And again, like this is like a second lounge, because once you have a table and your friends around here, I think you feel very comfortable with a second.
One thing I noticed too, you have the 10/8 beam at the widest part of the boat, but this doesn't even resemble much of a monohull. It almost feels like a catamaran in here, because you've been able to run that beam almost all the way to the bow. It's a wide space here. And usually, obviously, with a hull design, it might have to taper in a little bit tighter. But this thing, you have almost that full 10/8 beam, I would say almost right to here, before it starts kind of curving in. So you got a ton of space here, probably a lot more than most, you know, 34, 35 footers.
Yeah, you've said it extremely well. And one thing that I like also is that here we often leave it open with a nice little window here, so that you have plenty of light within the cabin. I feel like the front cockpit is very well done.
Okay. Finally, we have a windlass up at the bow. Makes it real easy, you know, dropping a sandbar like we have right behind us. So that's what this boat's all about, just comfort for friends, family, be able to get out there. And one thing I want to put out that I'm sure a lot of people are asking, and maybe you can drop a comment before Pierre responds, but what number do you think this boat is selling for? What would be your guess? Drop that in the comments, and Pierre, go ahead and tell us. Maybe you have it in your mind and it may surprise you. So you were talking about a little bit earlier. What does something like this run?
So a boat like this definitely packs a lot of feature. You've seen the really nice cabin, you've seen the space outside, and yet we remain like under 400K with this type of options. Of course, then if you had the Seakeeper and if you had some lithium batteries, you may be a little higher in the 400 range. Considering all the options that you get on this boat and the refinement of the interior, I think, which is something we do really well, I think that's a very good price boat.
When I first saw it and saw the amount of amenities and everything you have in here, the number I had in my head was quite a bit higher. So I wanted to make sure we dropped it in here so people wouldn't assume it was more expensive than it is. So you do get a lot for the money here, absolutely, with a Jeanneau America, 10.5 meter CC, and you have some other models as well, right? What are the other models?
So the thing is, like, we're famous in the US with for the NC and for the walk-around range, right? So these are really the boats that made us stood out because they were so very different from everything that was offered in the US. Right. But we've been in the US for like 40 years. We have a very good network of distributors, and now with the center console, that's something that people don't know so much about us. It's something that we feel we've done extremely well. So yes, I invite you to come check out our NC and our walk-around. I feel like people already know these boats, and this one is the one they don't know so well with Jeanneau. So that's why we're so excited that you're here, and that's why we're so excited to show it to the American people.
Thank you very much. I know we've been talking about it for a little bit. I'm very happy we got to get started with the 10.5 meter. Hopefully we can jump on some other ones. And that's our whole thing, trying to get out and explore the boating world, the center console world specifically, and those boats kind of in between. We're kind of getting to the point where we're finding and learning about other boats every now and then also. So hopefully this content is valuable to you guys. We're trying to learn as much as we can about this boating industry and every different brand and model there is out there. So when you guys go to purchase, we did some of the homework for you, or we're part of your homework. Hopefully we take you, 3/4 of the way, and then when you see Jeanneau out at a boat show, you can go ahead and pull the trigger because you know exactly what you want, whether it be the 10.5 meter or one of the other models. So Pierre, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Alan.
Really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure with Will, Kathy, and the whole team. We look forward to doing a lot more with you, and you guys definitely check this boat out and the entire Jeanneau line. I think you're gonna be incredibly impressed with what you're getting in the size package that it is. Again, it's a 35 footer, and this probably has more cabin space than a lot of 40, 45 footers. I know that's a question we get pretty often. Hey, what mid 30 or 30 foot range boat can offer those amenities for my family? And this one, I think above many others, checks almost all of those boxes. So congratulations to you guys. You're doing an amazing job, obviously. Legendary in the industry and now making your mark in the center console world. So congratulations.
Thanks again, Alan.
All right, guys, thank you guys very much. Subscribe, pass this along to your friends. Thank you as always for supporting everything we do here, and we look forward to doing this again very soon.